everyone, welcome to another episode of the University Podcast. Today I've got a panel with me, and we're all uni students or have just finished uni recently. And this is going to be a bit of an expectations reality, or what I wish I knew before I started uni type of podcast or type of episode. And we're going to talk about mainly the things that we wish we knew when we started uni to help maybe some of the first years that are going to be starting in Australia at least next week and the next couple of weeks. So we're going to go through and just say our name and what we're studying or what we study. So I'm Ankita. I am studying Commerce and Law at the University of New South Wales.
I am Holly. I studied biological natural sciences, basically biology, at Cambridge University.
I'm Victor. I'm studying data science at UNSW.
I'm Uma. I'm studying Commerce and Actuarial Studies at UNSW.
Hi, I'm Sam and I studied musical theatre at Whopper, a diploma of musical theatre.
Yeah, so we have, I picked all these, everyone here just has such a wide, like Holly's from the UK, Sam moved into state and did a diploma in
Musical theatre.
theatre. Yeah, and then Uma and Victor do different degrees, so it's just, we're all such from a vast array of degrees and got couple of different unis as well. So that's why I think this is just such a diverse group of people to talk about all this stuff, and obviously different experiences are expected because we all went different places and do different things, but I just want to talk about them because I feel like first years just have so many expectations and then sometimes they're not met or they're very different. So I want to start with social life and just like knock that one out of the park because that's a really big one. We're all like leaving high school, same in the UK, you guys leaving school as well, and then you're moving into this new world. So in the whole making friends sphere, how did everyone go in your own personal experience?
Not too well.
And what's your experience on that? Did you expect that you would make
Yeah,
friends?
I came from school being very like insular and like in my own like bubble, and then like coming to uni I kind of was like, this is a new chapter, nobody knows who you are, like make a good impression, just be yourself. And like it took like a long time to find a few people that I could really trust and whatever, but like I got there eventually, so it didn't start off too well, but I knew I had a goal to like meet people, and I think I did that, and I achieved that.
That's awesome.
So yeah.
Anyone else with your expectations? Sam?
I think like a lot of first years go into uni thinking that like it'll be like this huge social experience, but it is quite different to high school in that you don't really have to talk to anybody if you don't want
If you
to.
don't want to.
Like you can just not talk to anyone the whole time. So
Not advised.
yeah. No, yeah. So I was quite lucky that I made quite a few friends in my course quite early on,
Yeah.
which was really nice. But I'd say like to people who are starting out, if you have interests like and you want to make friends, joining a society is always a great thing to do. Or otherwise, like don't be too hard on yourself if it takes time to make friends either, because like it just does take time to make friends.
Yeah, and I think you come from high school with like, well, even if you don't want to do things together, you have to do things together. You're in classes together, you go on trips together, whatever. But then at uni, you really don't. No one's forcing you to do anything with anyone else.
Just on your own.
Yeah. Uma, what did you find with your?
I think it took me a bit of time as well. So towards the beginning, I mostly stuck with my high school friends, and I found that like, especially with the course that I was studying, it was such a diverse like number of people studying like different subjects and different majors. So it was quite hard to find friends doing like the same type of courses as me. But as Sam said, I feel like societies are a really great way to find friends, especially if they're interested in the same thing as you. So I met a lot of people through societies as well, especially the ones that I joined in second year.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
it took you a while. Like it took a year
while,
to
yeah.
like get into it. And Victor, what about you?
I was very lucky.
Yeah.
I was super like keen on making new friends as well and like really throwing myself out there. But I as a part of my scholarship program, I was able to meet a lot of people, and so I kind of got put into a system where I was able to meet new people, and I was really lucky to be able to find new friends that way. So I had a relatively easier time compared to other people when it came to making friends, because in a similar way to societies, you put yourself in an environment where you can meet new people, and then that's how you make friends. I was just kind of forced into that.
With the scholarship program, yeah, and I feel like when you because I think what it comes down to is societies, we were talking about societies, you were talking about the scholarship thing. When you put yourself in smaller groups of people, I think it's a little bit easier. Do you guys think so?
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
rather than
definitely.
being in a lecture theatre with 100 people and you don't know where to start. Yeah. Which I totally agree with. And did you find parties and events wise? So we were just talking about this, but the other thing, especially in Australia, we have like a big party culture, especially once you're 18 plus. And like I think a lot of people expect that at uni. Is that the same in the UK? Do you think?
Yeah, there's like a big emphasis on like partying, drinking, which I don't really personally enjoy, but I found a way to like make going out at night fun, even though I'm like teetotal and don't drink. Like I found a group of friends through a society in like second year, so it took time, but that would go out with me and I'd have fun like with no alcohol.
Yeah.
And, like, I think it's about normalizing the fact that you can not drink alcohol and have fun. Personally, it's good. It's really good. Don't get a hangover. It is good.
And you guys, was it like the same as what you thought it would be, or was it more intense or less intense, or?
I thought it was less intense, not as intense as I thought it would be. But it took me a while to warm up to it. So like probably for the first 6-7 months of uni, I was very like, I don't really want to like drink too much. I don't want to party too much. Like a lot of it is like you live at home, and so I can't really stumble home and like collapse into my bed without my parents going, "What the hell was that?" Right? But I kind of like grew into it a little bit more after a while. But yeah, I think in general, I didn't think it was that big. Mainly the people that you surround yourself with that like kind of dictates the environment and like the vibe. So.
Emma, what do you think?
Personally, I didn't attend too many parties in uni during my first year, but I've been to one or two. But I think one thing would be like distance. It's a big issue as well, since like I live like pretty far away from uni, so it would be pretty difficult coming home late at night.
That's true.
And then it was sort of different to what I expected as well, because I don't think I've been to a party like as big as I would have seen in my uni, because there was a lot of people there considering like the population of our uni. So yeah, it was quite different from what I expected actually.
Yeah, that at all. And Sam, what did you feel?
The uni that I went to was quite a small cohort of people, so there was actually quite a big party culture in that lots of different societies would have parties, particularly at the start of the year. So I went to a lot of them because I moved interstate, didn't have any friends, so I went to a lot of them. And I think the positive thing about uni parties, especially the ones around O Week and around the very beginning of the year, is that a lot of people are going again with the intention to make friends. So if you are like out to meet new people, it's a good way to be in a room where you know everybody wants to talk, like is in a social mood, and it's a good way to then get to know people. But obviously, like you can't make your entire uni life just about partying because it's unsustainable as well.
And I think sometimes like the people that you meet during like the first few weeks, like they won't necessarily be your friends for like the rest of your time at uni.
Oh, absolutely.
Like you meet so many people during those events, and like you think like you feel kind of overwhelmed, but you just got to remember like you'll find the people that you're like most comfortable with like over time.
Exactly. Yeah, it's so unlucky the first few people you meet to be your best friends.
Yeah.
But it's still, I guess, for
but
me, it's nice to have somebody, you know,
exactly.
So I enjoyed uni parties.
To bounce off at least.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly, yeah.
I mean, all the social events tend to be things where like you meet people and then that's like a springboard.
Yeah.
But
exactly.
And like the thing kind of related to parties, but like at like New South Wales, they're very. I feel like people get more into the camps and retreats that like societies hold. Maybe because we all live at home, and so when you take everybody and like you put them in somewhere where is with a bunch of people, and you can kind of it's enough people that you can mingle and meet new people, but it's not enough that you feel super overwhelmed. That was a big part of first year, I think, for me.
And I think the springboard thing is really right in that like this might not be your best friend, but they know someone who knows someone. Eventually you find your people, and eventually you find the people you get along with best as well.
Yeah. Emma, were you gonna say something? No?
Oh yeah, I think as Sam was saying, it's good to meet people because you can meet other people through them as well, and the people who you meet at first don't necessarily have to be the ones that you're closest with or you click with. But I think like orientation camps as well, and like they're like a great way as well. And especially if you know people going there with you already, you'd feel like a lot more comfortable like with meeting new people.
Yeah, and that's something I want to talk about because so Sam and Holly stayed on campus or at uni, so away from home, whereas Emma, Victor and I, we live at home. And the camps thing is, did you guys go on any camps? Sam and
No.
No,
because you're
Retreats?
already like
Yeah, because you're literally like,
yeah, which
which
I
I
feel
walk 5 minutes to your bed.
yeah.
Yeah, like
It's a camp for your degree.
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Which I feel like for the three of us, that's like something special to be able to
Yeah.
be with like a lot of people from your uni and your degree for a period of time where there's like no family and anything around.
Yeah.
Have you guys been on any? Victor, did you go on?
Yeah, I went to a couple in first year.
And how was that experience for you?
I went to one maybe 3 weeks into uni, and that
Oh,
was
wow.
like that was very. It was a weekend, and like that was when like I don't know anybody, and like we're really desperately trying to meet new people, like throwing myself out there. But then the second one that I went to was like in the middle of the year, in between the 2 semesters.
Yeah.
That one was like I had already kind of developed somewhat of a friend group. I mean, like a big part of our group went to that camp, so it was more like a bonding experience versus like meeting new people, and they were both quite like intense as well. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I've personally never been to any, but I think they're quite good in a way because for like course specific camps, like a lot of your cohort would go to like the first year camps as well, and they would be the same like familiar faces that you would be seeing for the next few years.
That's true. Like I know law camp at New South Wales. I didn't actually go on it, but people that did go on it, they seem to at least know people in the cohort, and like because a lot of people don't know anyone. It's like people just kind of like get in groups, and even though that might not be a best friend, they might not be a best friend. You know some people in your group. But as someone who didn't go on a law camp in a relatively smaller degree, I just want to say like you don't have to go on the camps. Like
Absolutely.
yeah, and I live at home. I didn't go on the camps, and while everyone was on the camp, I was like, oh my gosh. Yeah, so everyone's like making their best friends for life, and
Yeah.
I'm gonna be the one knowing nobody in this degree, and
Which is not true.
which is not true. And especially, I think it's important to remember that if you can't go on the camp or you don't want to for whatever reason, it's not the end of the world.
And it's important, like what Sam said earlier about it being not sustainable. Like these are one-offs. These are like opportunities, but it's not everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like if you just keep going to camps and you keep meeting people and you don't talk to them after the camp, there's no point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The big part about it is like you see people and then at like a party or event or in class, and then outside you'll walk past them and be like, oh, like I remember you. Whereas if you go to a camp and you spend 3 days with people, but then afterwards you don't talk to them ever again, there's no point.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
true.
And if you don't want to go to camp because you're anxious about it or you think you're not going to enjoy it, then you're not going to make any friends there anyway. If you do go, because you're not going to be yourself, you're going to be stressed and you're going to be upset. So it's not worth having a bad 3 days.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
true.
Because you're not putting your best foot forward
That's
anyway.
true.
So if you're not going to enjoy it, don't feel like you have to go.
Yeah.
I think if you're too out of your comfort zone, it might be like a negative experience for you as well.
Mm.
Because I know like some of the camps can be pretty full on, with like people transitioning from high school to uni. So yeah.
Yeah, I had a lot of
Yeah,
friends who
probably.
kind of struggled with that at
Yeah.
camp.
Yeah.
They couldn't handle it, and some people react negatively. Other people kind of revel in it, but like some
Yeah.
people they can't. It's not that thing. And
Yeah.
that's fine. Like they're doing perfectly fine. They've got their own friends that they met through other ways, and it's not a problem.
Yeah, and I think find out about the camp you're going to as well, like just a little bit of information, because I know at some of the camps they don't separate like girls and boys dorms whatsoever. Like everyone just sleeps on whatever bed, and to some people that's really they find that super uncomfortable. Girls and boys, just like people in general, and so just find out those little things, because that makes people really anxious for 2 nights and they can't sleep and whatnot. So I think also talk to people who've been on the camps. Maybe not like the leader of the camp, because they're obviously going to be a good spiel on it.
Like
But-
previous years.
Yeah, it's like someone in previous year, if you can, because I think that's really helpful to get like because I missed law camp and I talked to someone and they were like, oh, it's fine, like you don't need to panic that you didn't go, and that really helped me. So that's like a bit of advice if you can find someone. And I guess on social life, did you guys, for you two, and you guys are you, managing your social life as well as you want to, or do you feel like there was room to improve, or there is room to improve, or what do you feel about that? Because I find that sometimes I'm like overdoing the social stuff, and then sometimes I'm not doing anything for like one term at uni for 7 weeks, I basically didn't do anything. And one of my friends had a birthday party, and that was the first fun thing I'd done in like 7 weeks. So, and that was a bit of like, oh my gosh, I haven't done anything fun, right? And I haven't balanced it properly. So do you guys feel that happens, and how do you deal with it? Or that happened for you two?
I think that's a difficult question to answer because like not going to social things isn't bad if it's what you wanted.
Yeah.
Like if you had other priorities. Like I went through like a good like 6-7 months where I didn't really go out. Like I only went out like 2 or 3 times. But that's because I was like just working. I had like other priorities. I was like trying to study and handling other personal stuff. So I had no issues about that. Like I didn't really like feel FOMO. I was like, oh my god, everybody's partying all the time. I should be there. But yeah, it's only a bad thing if it's not what you want and you don't do it.
Yeah.
Do you guys feel that way?
Yeah, I think it's so personal. It depends on what you prioritize, whether like academia is really important to you or whether you like care about your social life. I was quite lucky at uni that like because the way my course worked was it was 26 of us doing every class together.
Wow.
And that was it. Yeah, but like all the friends I made, we had the exact same assessments, we had the same things, so we could have a social event where we'd also like work on that assessment together, or and so we all had the same goals. We knew like we wouldn't organise anything this week because we all have to hand in that assignment at the end of the week. So I was lucky in that I found a pretty good balance between social life and then uni work as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Emma, do you have?
I think I don't really feel like I've had any like obligation to go to like parties or anything if I feel like my social life isn't as good as I want it to be. But I feel like I'm just comfortable with like talking to my friends over my phone or even like meeting up for like lunches and stuff or even seeing them in class. I feel like personally that's alright for me. But yeah, I feel like it really depends on like person to person.
No, I think it's really personal. Like, yeah, I think you shouldn't regret anything as well. Like, just set your priorities from like day one, and then like just do you.
Yeah.
And like it sounds easy when you just say like, oh, you just need to know what your priorities are and do
It's
that.
hard.
But it's so easy, just 2 steps. But like I don't know, like I really struggled with that the first couple of years, like first year and a half, because I didn't really I didn't feel the FOMO, but I kind of struggled with like I was swing, so I didn't really have a balance. So I'd go through like 3-4 months where I didn't really go out because I was full on with like work or whatever, and then I'll cut down my hours and I'll be like, oh, I'm not gonna study too hard this time, and then go out way too much, and then it kind of just keeps like oscillating. So a balance is really important, even though we just said that.
And I feel like it takes a while to find your feet on that.
What Uma said about like just getting like a quick lunch instead of like spending 8 hours with a person is also a good way. Like if you're in like a study season, just like on your study break, go get lunch with a friend instead of like you don't have to spend all day with them, but you get a bit of social interaction while still getting to keep on top of everything you've got to get done.
True.
So.
That's a really good way of doing it as well. And I was gonna say something. What was I gonna say? What was I gonna say? Yeah, finding your feet. Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. It takes a while to balance your priorities. And the other thing I was gonna say is at uni, I feel like no one tells you what your priorities are. There is no right and wrong. Right? And I feel like in school sometimes, especially like year 11 and 12, we call that like HSE. What do you guys call it? Sixth form. So in year 12 or sixth form, they tell you like your priority should be like getting the best you can, or you know, you have your parents telling you things and you have teachers telling you things, and everyone's kind of doing similar stuff. But then when you get to uni, some people are like focusing on work, and some people are focusing on like making heaps of friends, and some people are studying really hard. And I just felt like I didn't know what to do. And then if I thought, okay, I want to focus on studying, then I'd be like, okay, but then should I be focusing on finding really, really like high level work, or should I be focusing on making heaps of friends? I don't know. And I think to be confident in your priorities, it took me ages. It took me a year probably. Like in my first year, I was not confident in what I thought was right. But there is no right. It's just what you think is right for you. And I just thought there was like a right thing to do. And there isn't.
And also like they even change for you as well. Like one day you might think like I want to focus on work, and the next day you can have a different opinion, and that's okay as well.
That's true. That's true as well. I think one like thing for new uni students is like I think it's pointless searching for the right thing or like the correct thing to do.
Just be confident in your decision.
Because there is no correct thing to do, and no one tells you.
Everyone's like doing their own thing. You don't have to look to someone else for what you should be doing.
And just because you're doing something different doesn't mean you're not going to be as successful or as accomplished as them. Cool. Does anyone have anything to say about social life to wrap it up before I move on to academia and other more serious matters, or have we covered what you guys wanted to?
I guess I would also say like if you don't want to make friends at uni, that's also so okay. Like you don't have to if you don't want to. Like
Yeah,
because we've been talking about societies, yada 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 yada. But like if you just want to go and get a degree, just do it. Like it doesn't matter. It doesn't.
That's so true. And some people just go to uni for that, and then they just get their degree, and they have their whole life like
Exactly.
separate life out of uni, and
Yeah.
that's also their fun. Yeah, that's so true. And people come from different backgrounds as well. You have people like working heaps and doing a couple of subjects, and then you have the other way around. So, yeah. Anything else, or have we? No. Yeah.
I don't know. I still feel like it's important to have a little bit, even if it's not your thing. Like you should kind of like this is an opportunity when you're moving into uni to kind of push yourself a little bit. Like I have a couple friends who really sat in that comfort zone when they entered uni, and they were like, oh, like I'm perfectly happy with my circle. I'm not gonna step out. But even if it's just meeting a couple people, or like only talking to a couple people, and instead of like talking to every single person that you can possibly get your hands on, even if it's just one or two people that you meet but you forge really strong relationships with, like that's really important because this is an opportunity for you to like push your comfort zone. So
Yeah, that's really true as well. Yeah. When we talk about academics and study, I guess we all did different degrees, and the type of study we did is also different. But was the workload what you expected? Was it more, less? Did you expect to be studying as much as you did, or you didn't feel like you studied that much? What do you guys find?
I'd read quite a lot about my course. Like I kind of did the wrong thing and looked on a lot of forums.
oh no.
People were like, "Don't choose this subject," and I was like, "Great! Like 2 weeks I'm starting this subject."
Yeah.
So I kind of knew I was like kind of scaring myself, which was the wrong thing to do. I kind of knew I was signing up for a lot of work, but at the same time, I like knew I was there to work and like do other stuff. But yeah, I was
there to study.
Yeah, I was there to study. Yeah.
Yeah. Did you guys find that?
You first, please.
For me, I feel like coming from like high school where we had to study like non-stop for like 5 days straight, I feel like I felt like uni was quite different in a way that like we could choose our own like subject timings. We didn't have to go like 5 days a week. So I felt like that kind of put me more in a relaxed mood, and I didn't study as much as I should have, or like it sort of set my expectations kind of low. And I feel like the study was more like self-dictated in uni as well. I think it was a lot more self-learning, which I wasn't used to. So
Mine's not very relatable. I did a really weird degree, so mine was mostly practical assessments. I didn't have much like study to do. I often have to sit down at a desk. But I guess what I found was because of the practical stuff, it didn't feel like study, but you'd find yourself like at uni for so many more hours a day practicing than you like thought. So my contact hours like almost got like 15 more hours on top of them because of how much you had to practice, which I suppose is almost study in a way.
Yeah.
And so I guess it's one of those things where uni, it did take a lot more time than I thought it would. I spent a lot more time focusing on that, and I had a lot less free time than I thought I would, I suppose. But I got used to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was a very high achiever in high school, so going from that into
That's true.
uni, I was like I had already gotten into the grind of like in high school, so I was getting used to like studying hard every day all the time, and I kind of went into uni and went, okay, like because I was doing a very technical degree, so I had class every day. I had like something like 22 hours of class a week or something like that. This was like first semester, so it was quite a lot. So I went, okay, like this is like high school, this is fine. So I'd study really hard every day, and then I realized that it's not like a one-to-one, like however hard however much effort you put in is what you get out.
No.
I dumped like 20 hours of work into one assignment, and I got like 70 something, which is it's good, but it's not like it's not what you would expect for like pouring an entire week of effort into one assignment. And I very quickly realized that like it's easy to pass, but if you actually want to excel, it's not like a linear kind of
That's so
effort. So I think I was super scared at the beginning, and then I started like easing off, which is kind of bad. And my marks reflected that. So
Yeah, but I like what you said about they're not so transparent with what they want. Did you find that?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they're
Because
not.
you come from school where you have like specifications, like kind of know what you need to do to get the grade.
Yeah.
Go to university. It's okay because you do learn from
Yeah.
that still. Like even if you feel as if you're like not doing as well as you should do, or you're like
Yeah.
failing, like you're still learning from that. Like you do most of your learning when you like don't do as well or you get that lower grade. Like
Yeah.
I really found that at uni, and I think you just got to get used to it because you'll learn from your mistakes.
Yeah.
100%.
and they designed all of that like courses to kind of reflect that. Like they
Yeah.
want you to be learning even though like you might be like kind of curving away from where they want you to go.
Yeah.
Like for any of the people possibly doing like computer science or software engineering, like this is super specific, but they in my introduction to programming course, they make it so easy to pass, but then they put in like the most ridiculous questions right at the end for the people who like have prior experience, because a lot of people have been like programming since they're 10 years old or something. And so I remember in my final exam for my first course, I was feeling really good up until the 50% mark in my final exam, and I was like, oh, this is getting like pretty hard. And I hit the last question, I was like, I don't know how to do this. Like I've never seen anything like this before. I walk out and it turns out like it was like some like PhD level question.
Yeah.
And I was just like, okay, like they knew that was kind of the people coming in, and like how you're gonna like sometimes even if you're never gonna get it right, you're still gonna learn along the way, and they kind of designed it to reflect that.
Yeah.
I feel like everyone's experience with like uni courses is so different as well. Like a lot of people can put in like so much effort into one assignment, like as Victor was saying, and then get the same mark as someone who put like basically no like work into an assignment. So I really found it hard to like gauge the like difficulty of courses by like reading online forums and stuff, or just hearing about it from my friends, because they also changed the course, I feel like, every term as well. So I feel like my experiences were like really different to what I'd heard, and it's like I think you shouldn't really keep expectations of like the course you're studying as well.
Yeah, that's so true as well. Like the comparison thing, when someone else gets like really good and you think you're putting more of it. But firstly, you don't know how much effort other people put in. But secondly, like it's really annoying because I've had it happen so many times, and I felt
It's
so
so
annoyed.
disheartening.
It's very disheartening. Like, and it's disheartening to think like, oh, I could have been doing something else. Like I could have just been having fun. And instead I'm sitting at the computer and doing So I totally understand that. Does anyone have anything else to say on academics, or how that is? Do you feel it's getting easier for those, or that it got easier? How you handled it, like it's getting easier?
I feel like it doesn't get easier, you just get used to it.
Yeah.
And like at some point you realize that like it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Like if you fail a course on the off chance that you actually do, you just take it again. And it doesn't really, like, I have a lot of friends who worry like, oh, like if I fail I have to push back my degree by a year. But it's like what's a year in your whole life? Like whatever. Oh no, I get more time to like have fun with my friends. Like what's another year of like just
Messing
doing
around.
whatever I want, but
Yeah.
not working every day? Like
Yeah.
it's not that big of a deal. And a lot of people get really worked up about it, like, oh, like I'm gonna like destroy my sleep, I'm gonna destroy my health, my mental health, like sacrifice everything just to like push over that like 75. But it's not worth it.
Yeah, like having finished now, like the amount of time, like not once do you think about what letter or number, like it's literally a letter or number on a piece of paper. Like not one person has like asked me that. It doesn't come into your day-to-day life. Like you should just feel like accomplished in having been through that experience and like come away with a degree, like regardless of what you got. Like
Yeah, that's so true. Like, now that I'm done, I don't
like
think,
when
oh,
do you
that one
think
assignment, I
know,
think,
like,
oh, I
when-
have my my
know.
qualification and I'm
Yeah.
happy with it.
Exactly. At the
Yeah.
time you're like, my whole life depends on this one thing. And when you step outside the box and like now having finished, it's like, why was I so worried? Like literally why? Like
And that's the same with like year 12 marks or
Yeah.
like final year marks. No one literally has asked me
No.
what I got, what I did.
And the
It's
people who
not
do
very
ask aren't worth it.
Oh!
Like,
That's
I-
a great way of saying.
We're meeting people and they're like, so like, how was high school? I'm like, I don't want to talk to you. Like, I'm leaving. I don't, like,
And now, like, especially, like, maybe in first year, that's a talking point for a lot of people. Like,
Yeah.
when did you go to school and, like, what subjects
that's
and
all you
stuff.
know.
That's how you spot a first year. Because they go, oh, where'd you go to high school? And you're like, okay.
But I think now that like we're in third year and you guys finish, like as you get in higher years, that's just not a thing anymore.
Just irrelevant past the
It's just
first
totally
year.
irrelevant.
Yeah.
I think anyone I've met now like doesn't care
Yeah.
about what I
No.
did in my school days or what I got or anything.
Mm.
Yeah. And the kind of last big area I wanted to talk about is working and work-life balance. So even though Holly you didn't like work at a job, but you were still doing like YouTube
Yeah.
and that whole side of things, and then Victor works. Explain your situation.
So I'm on a co-op program, which means that as part of my degree, I have to do certain work placements. So, and then they have their own schedules. So like for me, at the end of my first year during the summer, I worked 3 months, and then I had a whole year of uni, and then now I'm working for an entire year.
So you're not going to uni this year?
No.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I'm doing 2 6 months back to back.
Oh wow.
It's great corporate grind. but outside of that, I was still working. So
Yeah.
I did high school tutoring on the weekends. So I work about 12, 13 hours on the
Wow.
weekends. After uni. Yeah.
Wow. And then Uma works as well.
Yeah.
And then were you working while you were up at Perth?
I didn't have a consistent job while I was there,
Okay.
no.
But you work now,
Yes.
and he's auditioning for a lot of amazing things, which we won't get into because it's top secret. But working now. So let's get into like how balancing that was. In terms of like balancing, I feel like in Australia in general, when people are at uni, especially if they're at home while they're in uni, working is such a big thing. Like a lot of people I know, they're always casually working or part-time working. I guess, think you guys, maybe it's not as much of a thing there, but you've had the experience of like the YouTube side of
Yeah.
it. So how did everyone balance that? Was it hard? Yeah, was it easy? I don't know. How did Emma, do you want to start?
I think I was okay with balancing it because I worked in a casual position. So basically, my boss would text me each week which days I could work, and I would choose only the days I could work. So I thought that like being flexible was like a pretty big positive point for like working, and I feel like it was okay so far. Like during the busier periods, like exam season, I would only work like 1 day, and like during less busy periods, I would work like 2 or 3 days. So I think it's been pretty okay with me so far.
Yeah.
Balancing it
Did
out.
anyone face like a FOMO? Like not a FOMO, I don't know. Like when you're working, you feel like you should be studying, and when you're studying, you feel like you should be working.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did
And it's all to do with like the comparison. Like, what is everyone else doing? Like, I'm sitting here editing videos of myself, and everyone else is probably studying. But like, yeah, that's kind of the hardest thing I found.
Me too.
But like, I like the prioritizing and managing my time thing. Like, I've grown up doing a lot of being really busy, so that wasn't hard for me. It was just the whole like kind of FOMO but not FOMO, like what is everyone else doing sort of thing that is the hardest. But you've just got to like, kind of what we said before, like own your decisions, like know what your priorities are. Like if you're going to sit down for an hour and do something other than studying or like work one day, like that's fine.
Yeah.
But because of the nature of my work, there were a lot of hours both teaching and outside of teaching. So I might have spent 12, 13 hours on the weekend tutoring, but then I'd come home and on like a Monday and my student has an assignment the next day, and I'd be staying up through the night to kind of like help them out, or like I have to do so much marking. So it was the hours outside of work that bothered me, and that's the kind of struggle when you like when it comes to balancing, because if you're working a job where you don't have to think about work outside of your work hours, then I feel like you just kind of set those aside and then you forget about it. That's how you kind of balance it. But for me, I wasn't able to do that, and that's when it kind of leaked in. It was like, oh, like I have an assignment tomorrow, but I need to do this for my student. And so yeah, it all kind of came to a point where I was like, I can't, like some things I can do, some things I can't do. I just had to tell them like I'm not available this week.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't help you outside of the hour that I'm with you.
Yeah.
So
So,
I think what Uma said about casual work is so true. I think it's really optimum to have a casual job because you can say when you can come in and you can set your own hours, which I think it makes it a lot easier to have that balance for sure.
they're the ones asking you to come in. You have every right in the world to say I can't do it, and if they fire you, there's plenty of other jobs.
yeah, and it's not your job to like run their business. Like that's their job, right? Like
Unless you're admin.
yeah, unless you're admin. But like it's not your job to find staff or be the staff member that's like the fit. Like if you can't, like that's their job to staff themselves. About like a tip. Let's just go around and we'll start with Sam and just like one tip that you would say to a first year or anyone starting uni next week or in a couple of weeks.
I'll do a social life tip.
Yeah.
I'll say, go in there with an open mind, but also don't be too hard on yourself if it takes a while to find people that you really gel with.
Okay, Uma.
I think like self-learning for me was quite important in uni, and I think like most of the course content it wasn't taught like fully by the lecturers, at least the ones that I had. So I think like self-learning is pretty important.
Yeah, like be ready to teach yourself. Yeah.
For academics, don't rush. I have a lot of friends who dived into it and they were really rushed when it came to like uni and school. But if you just take a little bit of time to like slow down and think about things a bit clearer, you'll do a lot better.
Yeah. Holly?
Oh, so hard. It's very general. I'd just say like make the most of it. Like it goes so quickly. Like I look back and I'm like, where did 3 years go?
That's so true.
Like you just have to like make the most of it. Like realize that you're never probably going to be studying something that you probably love a lot. Like
or you're never going to
with people that like I don't know. You're never going to have that experience again. It's quite a unique experience. I think, and it like literally goes so quickly.
Yeah.
So you have to.
And just on that, this is not my tip, but on that, I always think like, while studying is like an option at any age, like you can go back to uni and stuff. Like this age of like being in your late teens and like early 20s and stuff, you're never gonna get that age back in your life.
Yeah.
If you're spending it at uni, like make the most of it.
Make the most of it.
And my tip would be just in general, you don't have to do it all in your first year. You don't need to be like a CEO and run a company and like have a billion friends and be getting like high distinctions. That's unrealistic and you can't do it all. And that's exaggerated, but I was someone who like just felt so much pressure to be doing everything and anything and like getting involved in everything, and I felt like I was missing out if I wasn't. And you don't have to do it all, and just be comfortable in what you pick. And it's so easy to say, as you were saying before, because I say that now after 2 years, but it was really hard. But yeah, just be open to that. Thank you guys so much. We're going to play a fun game now. So we'll just leave the camera on. So we have two teams. Maybe we'll just do Sam and Uma and Victor and Holly.
Sure.
So
1, go.
Wait, I have 5 colours.
So hard!
okay, ditch your colour. Ditch your colour. Just ditch one colour.
I also have 5. What colour are you ditching? I'm going to ditch red. Green.
I swear
I'm so red.
10 seconds left.
Ah!
4, 3, 2, 1.
Okay, stop.
No!
Okay, so the sorting.
Okay, Victor has clearly won. I'm sorry.
The sorting is
can you
mediocre.
put
No,
the
but okay,
things
wait.
you didn't? Yeah. The sorting is mediocre. Like Victor's got 1 wrong there and 1 wrong there. Sam got 1 wrong.
Oh no, but see, my reds are good.
But overall, I think Victor's won because he's.
This game's so easy. This
So
game's
team Victor and Holly have won.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay, so they've
yeah.
won 1 round. So if you just put all the skills back as well, and then we'll do Uma vs Holly, and then if you guys win again, then you've won. Otherwise, we might have a tie.
Tiebreaker.
Bring the win home.
Okay, so we choose 4 colours and we just ignore.
Like 1 will just be left in the bowl. Yeah. Okay.
Wait,
So
which side am I going? We're still on the same side.
okay. So Victor, you do the countdown since you're timing.
Ready?
Wait, are we ready?
Ready? 3, 2, 1, go.
Oh shoot, that's good, man.
Okay.
Yeah, that's not because I have like loads of yellow and like not very many.
Wait, not the red, right?
You can
Yeah.
pick.
The red has the least.
Okay. Well, Sam decided to ditch the
Oh,
red.
that's a big brain play. I didn't even count the least coloured ones.
How long do we have left?
You have 8 seconds. 7, 6,
I can't
5,
do anymore.
4, 3,
Oh!
2, 1.
Oh my
Oh.
gosh!
We win, right?
That is amazing.
That was
That's
so
like
good.
perfect.
I think
That was
that's perfect.
That was a perfect score.
That was. It wasn't rigged.
Victor just lost with the same.
No, he still beat me.
It's not rigged.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
not rigged. Well, I'm sorry, Team Uma and Sam. You guys.
I'm really upset.
Yeah.
Uma and Sam have lost that
Okay, but
by a slight margin.
That.
That's perfect.
One
Oh
and a
my
bit
gosh, that looks so good. Okay, you can eat them if you feel.
Yeah.
If you feel that.
If you feel that. If you feel. But thank you all so much.
No worries.
For being on the panel.
Thank you for inviting us.
No, and thank you everyone for
Honor.
watching.